These have been some of my favourite pots to make recently. They're much smaller versions of the angular bowls I've been making many of, thrown curved with plenty of clay in the foot, and then the following day at the leather hard stage, they're rough shapes which all approximate something like this, but trimmed and refined into these more elegant shapes. For this initial batch I've made about 30 or so, the shape of each differing slightly, although all roughly follow the same rules. These tiny pots turn bone dry very quickly, whereupon they're packed into my electric kiln for a biscuit firing to 1000 degrees Celsius. This turns clay into ceramic, which means they can no longer be recycled by being dissolved in water. In fact, the particles have begun to fuse, a process called vitrification. This makes the ceramic itself very absorbent, and it's what helps the glaze ultimately stick to these. The first thing I do though is apply a coating of wax to the foot of each. This way the glaze can't adhere to the feet of these, and it should mean I spend less time tidying them up later. I then divided the bowls into 4 groups and coated each with a different glaze, beginning with a white feldspathic crackle glaze. As I dip them in, I shake them for a moment, to hopefully swirl the glaze around inside the foot so that no pocket of air creates a bare patch, which I'd otherwise have to fill in and tidy up later. This may look like I'm just carelessly dunking them in and taking them out, but there's a lot of thought that goes into how they are removed, in order to achieve as even a surface on the vessel as possible. The following day, after all the glazes have dried out, the entirety of each object is double checked and the foot ring is wiped clean and made really crisp and neat. I don't want there to be any glaze on the foot, otherwise the vessel could stick itself to the kiln shelf. This is slow, meticulous work, but it makes all the difference and helps the objects to feel far more professionally made. They can then be packed into my Roda KG340 gas kiln, whereupon they're reduction fired to cone 10 in a firing that lasts about 9 hours. And finally, we can see the finished results. They're very sweet little objects, and I suppose whilst my initial intention was to create miniature bowls, they do feel like tiny cups or tumblers. The final thing I need to do is smooth their feet, which I do with a small diamond